Hello, everybody, and welcome to Vinyl Power. That's right, the podcast where we talk about our love for vinyl records and share it with you. Join us each week as we bring you the latest in vinyl releases, what's in our vinyl collection, and wrap it up with epic vinyl. That's right here, each and every week, with your hosts, the Reverend Jeff Kelley and Kurt Harris. Once again, welcome to Vinyl Power. Look at that, everybody. You are on board once again for Vinyl Power. It is Wednesday. That's right. Yeah, we usually do this stuff on Thursday. I know that's what we said, but Wednesday is on occasion when it suits us. Hey, I'm the Reverend Jeff Kelley, and I am here to say thanks for tuning in, and we're glad you're spinning records. I'm over there with Kurt, your friendly neighborhood music man, Harris, and he is hanging out in North Carolina with us today. How are you doing today, sir, Mr. Kurt?
Your friendly neighborhood music man, doing great. There's nowhere I'd rather be Wednesday, November 8th, than hanging out with the Ayatollah of rock and roller himself, the Reverend Jeff Kelley.
Of rock and roller. That's right. We are right here live. Hey, we start out here with the new releases every week. So let's take a peek at what's on board. And there's a couple of epic stuff coming out, and I'm not a new guy. I don't buy new vinyl. I really don't, but I'm tempted. Really tempted. November 10th. That's right. That stuff's coming out 2 days Friday. Metallica, Master of Puppets.
Oh, yeah.
As well as the Metallica Master of Puppets box set.
Oh, that's gonna be good.
Missy Elliott's. Yeah, Missy Elliott's under construction, no doubt. The soundtrack. I'm not exactly sure the soundtrack to what, but it's okay.
No
REM,
doubt.
Automatic for the People. Tom Waits, Alice. Tom Waits, Bad as Me. Tom Waits, Blood Money. Tom Waits, Glitter and Doom Live. Tom Waits, Mule Variations. Tom Waits, Real Gone. I don't know that I need any of those, but wow.
Yeah,
he's releasing a lot this week.
Wow, if you're a Tom Waits fan, you're going to be broke on Friday.
Hell yeah. You are already broke because they've already charged your card for it.
Right.
And they're already in the mail to be delivered.
Oh,
Holy
no
crud.
doubt. It's like six
and
records.
a various artist release of the Crazy Heart original soundtrack as well. I'm excited about the Metallica ones because what happens is people buy these new remasters and they think they're fantastic, and then they sell off their ones that they think are cruddy. I know I'm the one that buys those ones that they think are cruddy, clean them up, and they sound fantastic. So thanks a lot.
They do sound fantastic.
It doesn't matter how cruddy they've been played, how many times they've been played. It doesn't matter what kind of cartridge they've been played on. I'm still going to spin it, and I'm still going to listen to it. I mean, it's just...
Still going to enjoy it.
That's right. Hey, Kurt, what were you spinning this week in your collection, man?
It was a great week of records there, Reverend Jeff. Kind of an eclectic week. I always have a theme, and this theme, I guess I can just say it was eclectic. And it started out with the first Ted Nugent record. So 1975, Ted Nugent had left the Amboy Dukes. And as you can imagine, just a fantastic guitar record. And as I was reading about this, something a little interesting was the fact that I believe this is, maybe you would think it'd be Cat Scratch Fever. Maybe I would have thought it would be, but they kind of had this listed as the best-selling Ted Nugent album. This is his first one.
Well, considering his separation from the band and it being his first solo debut studio album, it's a great album. I mean, I'm a debut studio album kind of guy. I like to hear their first offerings because usually that's the stuff that they brought to the table or have had sitting on their own table before those greedy, dirty record industry guys get their fingers on them going, be more like the fucking Beatles, okay? Come on, be more like the Beatles.
Exactly. One of the great things about this record, the track listing, Stranglehold Stormtroop and Hey Baby, just what the doctor ordered. I mean, what an amazing side A for the first ever record, you know, for Ted and the band. And Snakeskin Cowboys, Motor City, Madhouse, Where Have You Been All My Life, and You Make Me Feel Right at Home. And the last song on the record, and the reason I read it out, Queen of the Forest. One interesting thing about Queen of the Forest, if I don't know how many will remember this, but in the 1970s, there was a TV show called WKRP in Cincinnati. And the first rock record ever spun by Johnny Fever.
Johnny Fever. Oh,
Yep,
yes.
was Queen of the Forest, the last song on the first Ted Nugent album.
I swear by everything right and holy, I thought turkeys could fly.
You do know. You definitely know.
Les Lessman. Who doesn't know Les Lessman
Yeah,
with the turkey incident, throwing him out of the helicopter, out of the WKRP helicopter on Thanksgiving. I swear to God, I thought turkeys could fly.
Yes,
Lonnie Anderson? I mean, come on, dude.
Oh, I know. I enjoyed that show. But yeah, that was the
torpedo movies.
The first rock song, the first rock record spun on WKRP by Johnny Fever, Queen of the Forest by Ted Nugent. And like I said, eclectic, so something completely different.
And now for something completely different. Oh, LA Woman.
LA Woman. I mean, I just, this could be an epic record. Obviously, any show. It's so good. It has two of my favorite Doors songs. I'm a huge Doors fan. Obviously, this is 1971. It's the last record with Jim Morrison. He actually passed away 3 months after the release on this record. LA Woman, Riders on the Storm. I mean, the whole record is good, but those two songs are just massive standout songs. Was the sixth album by the Doors. And like I said, the final with Jim Morrison. So basically 6 records with Jim Morrison. It reached number 9 on the U.S. charts, number 27 in the UK. Surprised it wasn't a little more popular in the UK. And anyways, basically, it's probably my second favorite Doors record behind the first. And definitely qualified for the little bit of the eclectic spinning that I did during this week. So that was the second one. And for the third one, it's in the same time period and a very different record in its own right. How about 10 years after Cricklewood Green?
And I have never even heard of that record. Seriously.
Well,
should I have? I mean, seriously, am I missing something?
No, you should. You know, one thing, you've seen footage from Woodstock, right?
Right, of course. I mean, I've watched the movies
so you've seen 10 years after, because that's one of the most played portions of Woodstock.
All right,
is
now
Alvin Lee playing the song "I'm Going Home."
Yeah, now I'm.
And he's just up there, just wailing on the guitar. So. One of the reasons I want to show this one, this is their 4th studio album, 1970. Of course, this was a very, get out of that so you can see it a little bit better. They're a very blues-based band and playing style by Alvin Lee. But one of the things about this album, every song is good, but when you have Sugar the Road, amazing song, Working on the Road, another amazing song, and then one of my favorite ever 10 years after songs, 50,000 Miles Beneath My Brain. Isn't that a great title? 50,000 Miles Beneath My Brain. That is awfully cool. Love Like a Man on the second side. It's a great record. And the thing I would have to say about this being the 4th studio album, many would probably list the album before this as their favorite. It's just called Shh. Yes. Shh.
Yes.
But I think this one really shows all of Alvin Lee's amazing guitar work, from playing ditty kind of things that are a little bit Jimmy Page-ish, into his, blues based and the song structures on here. Fantastic album. And if you haven't heard it, Jeff, I highly recommend at some point at least pull it up on YouTube or something and give it a listen and see if it's something you could get into. A great band, great record. For my money anyways. And the last one in my 4, like I said, I wanted to keep it kind of eclectic. And this could easily be the epic record on any day that we do epic records. And it is Marvin Gaye, What's Going On.
What's going on?
So
now this surprises me in your collection. Sorry.
Yeah,
it does. It surprises.
Well,
I know you enjoy music for what it is, but this really does kind of like take me. I didn't realize it was Marvin Gaye. It took me for a moment to realize.
And it's not my only Marvin Gaye record either. I have other Marvin Gaye records. This is actually his 11th studio album. This is listed on the Rolling Stone Top 500 as the 6th best album of all time. It's his first, and maybe only, I'm not sure about that, but at least it's his first concept record. He basically tells a story. It's a theme and it's a story from beginning to end of a man who returns from Vietnam and finds a world different than he wished he was finding, returning from that place. He's finding hatred and, people locked into bad sorts of drug use and just a lot of negative things in society. And that's basically what the theme is of what's going on. Can we get it together? Will we ever get it together? And it's a great record. Lyrics are just amazing. It's just very quick, interesting things. This was actually recorded in 4 different studios over almost a year's time. And basically, you've got the Funk Brothers, which is the session band from Hitstown, USA, which is actually credited on this album, which is nice because a lot of times you have session bands like that, session players, uncredited on too many albums, and they are credited here. And it's a great record. What's Going On? What's Happening, Brother? Flying High, Under the Friendly Sky, Save the Children, God is Love, Mercy, Mercy Me, Right On,
Mercy Me,
Holy, Holy, and then Inner City Blues, Make Me Wanna Holler. Just for its time period, again, 1971. So all these records were sort of, at least these were in the same time period. And a great record. And I think it's one that if you give it a spin, you'll enjoy it, even if the kind of Motown type of sound is not directly for you. It's worth listening to. So that's what I was listening to this week. Like I said, a bit of a eclectic week. I didn't want to get so locked in on my themes that it became too narrow. I wanted to make sure to broaden it out and bring out a little more of the collection. So having shown that, I have to ask you, oh Ayatollah of rock and rolla, what were you listening to, spinning on this last week?
Oh,
Reverend Jeff.
I was spinning some stuff. This last week, I was sicker than a dog. That's why we got to cancel the show last week. And to be honest with you, it really is only about the last 72 hours that I've felt human again. So I had a late start to the spinning week this week, but the wife and I sat down this morning and we're still catching up from our record fair buys. I mean, we bought so many albums at the record fair that we're still listening to them now, weeks later. And the first one that we pulled up, of course, was Jefferson Starship Earth, 1978 release of the Jefferson Starship. It was the same band lined up as Spitfire from the previous year before. It's got Count on Me is the big hit, I guess, out of it. But if you like Jefferson Airplane, you like Starship, you're probably gonna like Jefferson Starship. It's funny. I was just watching a thing on Facebook last night from a comedian band who basically says that every single pop hit in the last 60 years uses the same 4 chords. And I think they're right. Absolutely think they're right. That's the key to it. So then, of course, we got a little edgier with Sin After Sin, of course, from the priest of rock and roll, Mr. Judas Priest.
A beast from the east.
Now, this was the 3rd studio album set up by the heavy metal group Judas Priest, released in 1977, remastered in 2001 with 2 bonus tracks added. This is not that edition. This is an original release printage of it. I got this from the record shop show, and to tell you the truth, I paid $8 for it, and it's in like near perfect condition.
Oh, well worth it. Great
I
record.
can't. Yeah, I can't really complain about what I actually paid for this one. Several major milestones happened in the group's career. The band made their major label debut, and where they were able to work with other musical artists from Deep Purple and was it Roger Glover? Yeah, Roger Glover. The band also formally embraced an aggressive metal sound with this release.
Sure, Roger Glover was actually known for doing a lot of production outside of Deep Purple.
Yeah, exactly. And this was really, prior to this, Priest wasn't as hard as he should have been. Let's just put it that way. This album definitely pulled it. And then, of course, I filled in a bunch of holes while I was at the record show. Now, these are all like $5 editions, but playable stuff. But I'm pretty damn close to finishing out my AC/DC collection.
Love that one.
Powerage. Oh, dude. Rock and Roll Damnation. Down Payment Blues, Give Me a Bullet, Riff Raff, Sin City, What's Next to the Moon, Gone Shooting, Up to My Neck and You, and Kicked in the Teeth.
That's a great record.
Dude, you look at it and it's just, it's AC/DC, but it's also Powerage. Released May 5th, 1978. What Next to the Moon redirects wow, that was an interesting. According to the AC/DC book, Maximum Rock and Roll, several songs that wound up on Powerage were supposed to be started in July of 1977 during the band's first rehearsals with Albert Studios included Kicked in the Teeth and Up to My Neck in You. So yeah, AC/DC was definitely kicking it. But the absolute best thing I was listening to this week, this is absolutely no joke, it's the best of the friggin' Doobie Brothers.
Oh, love that record.
Dude, are you freaking kidding me? Every single thing on here, minus one song, was a gold record. China Grove, Long Train Running, Taking It to the Streets, Listen to the Music, Blackwater. Rocking Down the Highway was the only one that didn't make that list. Jesus Is All Right, It Keeps You Running, South City Midnight Lady, Take Me in Your Arms, and Without You. I mean, okay. You want to make the perfect Doobie album? There you go. I think that pretty much sums up the perfect Doobie album right there. They released this one. It's of course, it's a compilation in October of 1976. This is their first edition of a greatest hits types of thing, and there was one other thing I wanted to say about it. Oh, and it has been sold so many times that they've re-released it 3 times.
Well, it's a great record. I can see why it would sell so many times. Every song on it is good. Blackwater is probably my favorite amongst the bunch. I just love that song. All the songs, I was like, it's piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. It's like, the candy dish just keeps replenishing every time the song changes. Fantastic stuff is what I was listening to today and this week, spinning the records on my vintage gear I got floating around here. I just realized I have 4 vintage decks floating around my house. I got to flip some of this stuff pretty quick. I got some nice gear. I really have some nice setups, but I just can't keep them all. That's for sure. Hey, let's give some quick shout outs to the people hanging out there in internet land. Shout outs to the people.
There should be a couple of people hanging out there at least. I saw Lance Windsor was trying to check in. Not sure if he is still out there or not. And I believe Starshine, of course, would have been out there swinging her tool. But we know for a fact Mr. Rod Dupree is always
in the place to be.
That's absolutely right. Thank you for being there live, Rod. If you guys want to join us live Thursdays, 5 p.m. Pacific, usually. We just decided Thanksgiving, we're not doing a show, so we're going to do it Wednesday. So if not Thursday, then usually on Wednesday. But check the facebook.com at Vinyl Power Podcast. A little at symbol, Vinyl Power Podcast. That'll take you right over to our page. You can click the like button, follow us, share it, check back there because that has all the show announcements on it. We still need 100 subscribers before we can name the YouTube channel, and this will get a whole lot easier. So click the subscribe button, click the little bell button, click the share button down below, even Twitterverse. We'll at Vinyl Power Podcast will find us pretty much everywhere we are. With that,
that's where we will be.
I got to ask you there, Mr. Kurt, what did you bring along for your epic vinyl this week, good sir?
Again, I may surprise you slightly with this one, but the first Cars record, 1978. In many ways, I have to say about this record, when I told you that I was going to be bringing the first Cars record to the table, your first words were "such a fun record."
Oh, it is.
And I think that's one of the first things you think when you listen to this. I mean, basically almost every song was something that made the radio. And the fact is, this is 1978. This is right at the end. Punk rose like a meteor in the sky and quickly diminished, and disco had risen and had diminished, and they were right at the end of their run. And people weren't paying attention to the progressive bands anymore with the long 10, 15-minute songs with mega solos and time changes. And this album was, in many ways, it's a power pop album. And it was a return to sort of Beatles-like pop. And this, they were so focused that when you look at the times, on like side one, basically, I think there are 3 songs that are like 3 minutes and 15 seconds, and 1 song that's like 3 minutes and 30 seconds. And then on side 2, there are 2 songs that are 4 minutes and 14 seconds, 1 song that's 4 minutes and 13 seconds, and 1 song that's 4 minutes and 40 seconds. So they created an album where every song, if it was popular, it could get mega radio play because they were short, they were to the point, great production values. It was Elektra Records, came out in 78, Elektra Records. It spent 139 weeks on the chart. It rose to 18, so it had, very good success. And the band's out of Boston. And just to say something about this particular record itself, this is the original master recording from Mobile Fidelity Labs. It actually has the numbered edition right here. I also have Candio in the same with the numbered edition, and it's the half-speed master. So obviously it was already a record with great production values, and it sounds almost as good as any record you would put on, I guess, except for those remastered 200-gram Rush records. This one would be in the running for anything else that I've heard. And one of the things I would say about this was, like I said, basically right at the end of disco, right at the end of punk, and long progressive music was out of style. The heavier, you had Iron Maiden, you had Judas Priest, you had bands that were still putting out heavy metal types of albums, and they were still popular, and they were still, people going to see them. But people were kind of hungry for something new, and it was new wave. And this record just happened to be kind of one of the real precursors to new wave, with the way the synthesizers and keyboards were used, and the length of the songs, and everything about it. So this one, as far as I'm concerned, I love Candio as well. I think this is a slightly better record, but this really was the precursor to 1978, to the whole new wave and what new wave became alongside of MTV. This was really one of the founding records of that time period. It's not my favorite time period, but I think this is a fun record. It's a great listen. The songs are great, and it's such a focused record. They knew exactly what they wanted to do, and they pulled it off perfectly. And that's why the first Cars record made my epic record for this week. Excellent. So having said that, I have to ask you, Reverend Jeff.
Yes, sir.
What is your epic record for the week of November 8th, Wednesday, 2017? I just have to say a special day for me because My lady is on the way, and I could not be more excited about that. So it's a great day in many ways for me. And so let us hear it, Jeff. What are you going to introduce to all of our mega fans out in the music universe?
This week, yes, has been hiding on me behind the wall here, of course, is Rush. Little
One of
bit
my
of
favorite
tastiness
records.
of the Rush. Permanent Waves, to be exact, is the 7th studio album by the Canadian rock band Rush, released January of 1980 on Anthem Records. After touring to support their previous album Hemisphere in 1978 ended, the band took a short break before they regrouped to work on new material. The album marked a departure of their musical style towards tighter song structures and songs more suitable for radio play. Permanent Waves was recorded in late 1979 at the Le Studio in Morin Heights, Quebec. Damn Frenchies. Sorry. Almost everything positive reception from the critics and became their most successful album at the time of its release, reaching number 3 in Canada and the United Kingdom, number 4 in the United States. The album was certified platinum. Platinum. Yeah, that's not aluminium like they say in the UK.
Well deserved. What a
selling
record.
1 million copies. Rush released The Spirit of Radio, Free Will, and Internotes as singles in support of the album with their 1978 and 80 tour. Dude, this album has just got so much greatness on it that it sounds original. It's not even a remaster. This sounds so good.
Oh,
I mean, it's a heavy, it's a heavily thick vinyl. You know how some of them are light, some of them are heavy. You know, this particular one is definitely heavy, so it was most likely virgin pressed, because in 1980 they were recycling the vinyl by then.
Yes, they were. You're right.
And, this isn't one of those paper light pressings. It doesn't have any of that garbage, the cardboard garbage in it. And if I remember right, the Canadian pressings definitely didn't have any of that, because they didn't start recycling until later. Anyhow, the band, period, is amazing. This album is amazing times 2. And I kind of want to put it back on. I'm going to put it over here on top of my desk player so I can listen to it again later. That's exactly what that record will do to you. I've already listened to it once today, and I'm going to listen to it again.
Once is not enough.
Later.
It is not enough. I completely agree.
Speaking of not enough, there's never enough time. This edition of Vital Power is going to get wrapped up with the sad music. That's right. But that's okay, because next week is episode number 10, and that's when things start to change around here just a little bit. So start looking forward to some personalities stopping in here and there, and we'll have some interviews for you coming up as well with some record artists, and who knows who will be stopping by Vinyl Power. I want to thank everybody who's watched us so far. Share it with your friends. Even your slap happy grandpappy would be happy to listen to Vinyl Power, I'm sure. Keep your records off the floor. Keep your stylus clean. And we'll see you next week at Vinyl Power Podcast. Pretty much anywhere you can find us. Tag us. We answer questions. Post on the page. Tell us what you're spinning. Do all those kind of things. Leave a comment.